Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined by my friends and co-hosts Sean Galbraith and Galen Naidu-Harris. Shawnee G, let's go over to you. How you doing? What you been up to since our last episode, my friend?
Finally got out throwing again. Played my rounds for the Toronto Open Flex start at Beaches and Bell. Played that on the weekend. Super fun. I hadn't played Maryland Bell in a little while. Did solid. I think I did a combined -6 or -8 or something like that. Decent. I don't know how that'll shake out by the time everybody gets their rounds done over the week, but it's not bad. Galen, how about you? You been up to anything?
I dig it, Shawnee. Well, the first thing that I was just thinking is that I very much would like to start, literally just for my own self-satisfaction, a new bit in figuring out hockey players that have the same jersey number as our episode number. So I was like, who the heck has been 28? I was like, Ty Domi, the man himself, the myth, the legend, Toronto Maple Leaf. 28 episodes, and all of them in honor of Ty and his legacy in Toronto, of course. I'm good, man. I've been trying to, not to rest on my laurels too much. Last time we talked, I just ran over the field at the Toronto Slush. So, just trying to remind myself, stay humble. You can't just win every tournament. You have to actually practice every once in a while. So, it's been tough getting back into that headspace because of how dominant I've been this season in every tournament that I've played. But it's been good. Got out to Kings Forest last weekend. Played the club layout, which is a little bit of mids, a little bit of shorts, which will be the layout for this weekend, the Kings Forest Open coming up, though it'll be like shorts and mids, not just a little hodgepodge or whatever. But I love that course, and that is what I'm thinking about most, is just being excited to get back to the KFO, because that tournament is a blast, and that course is a blast, and that's always a great send-off at the end of the season. So I have been playing a lot, but I've been thinking a lot about disc golf, and I'm excited for this weekend.
Yeah, I cannot wait for KFO. I finally got out to throw again. I went to Kings this past Sunday from when we were recording. Didn't make it through a full round because it felt like my elbow was going to explode.
Yeah, and you and I just missed each other too. We were on the course at the same time, I think, but we didn't actually cross streams.
I know. Because you were a little bit ahead of me when I got there. So when I finished my round early, I sent you a text letting you know, and I was kind of hoping that you were going to be like coming off the course right around that time, so I could come say what's up. But no dice. And I don't even know if I'll see you there this weekend because we're on opposite days. But yes, I did. I finally got out to play, which felt amazing. This weather lately has just been a dream come true after this winter. Hopefully the elbow pain doesn't continue. That's definitely going to be something that I have to monitor, but I've been doing some like stretches and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that it was just rust from the fact that I literally hadn't actually thrown a disc in like over 2 months. I had done some putting, but hadn't done any actual throwing. So I think my arm just needed to come up to speed again, but so excited for KFO. It felt great to get out there for a practice round. I didn't fall in the river this time, which was an improvement from the last time that I was at Kings Forest. So yes, we're working in the right direction. But KFO this weekend, Toronto Open this weekend as well. We're going to get into that a little bit. I did unfortunately have to back out of the Toronto Open because 2 rounds of gold at Scarlet. For anybody familiar with Scarlet Woods in Toronto and the gold layout, not a ideal course to play when you're potentially dealing with some elbow pain. So dropped out of that one. But Kings Forest, I will be there for that. I am very excited, hoping for a little bit less of a roller coaster than I had last year. I don't know if you guys remember, because we would have covered this on the podcast last year. We had started the pod already. I shot -7 in round 1 and then +7 in round 2 to finish at dead even. So we're going to hope for a little less of a roller coaster. But disc golf is back, fellas. We've got some Pro Tour stuff to talk about today. We've got some Ontario stuff to preview for stuff coming up. So let's dive right into it. And Shawnee G, let's go over to you for some registration talk. What we got coming up here locally in Ontario?
We are, as you said, fully into tournament season now. Absolutely love it. We had a big event just hit disc golf scene, the Christie Lake Spring Fling. The event takes place May 3rd to 4th. There are 2 registration dates that are coming up. What day is it today? They're coming up this week, so they may be open by the time this episode drops. March 14th, it is open for sponsorship, early registration. And March 15th, it opens for general registration. This event always sells out. It is such a fun event. You do not want to miss that. Next,
and that's Saturday for general registration. So if our episode's coming out like usual on Thursday, then if you're listening to this before Saturday, and I'm assuming it's 7 or 8 p.m. like most registration times. So if it is before 7 p.m. on Saturday the 15th, get your butt on Disc Golf Scene and get ready for that registration. If you're listening to this after the fact, still get your butt to Disc Golf Scene, but I'm willing to bet you're going to be met with a wait list.
Yeah, very, very, very likely. The next event, open now. Event is on May 10th. It is Nico's Drive Guelph, part of the junior series here in Ontario. Absolutely love seeing the juniors out there humiliating me on the course because they are just so good. And Guelph never disappoints. So kids out there who should not be listening to this show probably, but get your parents to sign you up for that amazing event. Another new one on May 10th dropped up in Sault Ste. Marie is the Doomsday Demolition, a 3-disc challenge from Doomsday Disc. Registration opens yesterday by the time this episode drops, so March 12th. That is absolutely going to be a lot of fun. The legendary Bronte and the Beast is open. There are not many spots left for that absolutely grueling tournament that takes place on the hardest layout that they have. If you are a masochist and want to put yourself through that, it takes place on June 21st and 22nd if you can still get a spot. Dreammaker, such a fun event up in Southampton, Ontario. That has opened. It's the 5th year of this event. It is almost full. It went fast. I think they're now at 153 registrations out of a possible 180. This is such a fun event.
Defending MA3 champ.
Yeah, you going to be there? You're not defending anything.
No, I figured I'd let somebody else step up. Heavy is the shoulders that wear the whatever.
Sure, you're gonna sit this one out. You're not gonna bag this one.
Never. I never bag, Sean. I just play on the level of competition that I should and run it over.
There's only 180 spots available, and like I said, 153 are already gone. This is such a fun camping weekend with the potluck and the campgrounds. It's definitely one to miss, or not to miss. It's the same weekend as Gap's Gambit, and that has not shown up yet on Disc Golf Scene. My hunch is that you're either going to be playing Dreammaker or you're going up to Sault Ste. Marie to play Gap's Gambit. Looking at the pro player list, I think a bunch of the pros are probably going up to Gaps to go for that OCC tour stop.
I did message tournament director Corey Murdoch for Gap's Gambit. We were chatting recently. I just wanted to confirm that it was the same weekend that it is on the Ontario schedule, and it will be that same weekend. So not up on Disc Golf Scene yet. Hopefully we'll be up there soon, so registration can happen. I can fully get in there. That's my plan, is to play that tournament. But yes, it will be that same weekend as Dreammaker, confirmed by the tournament director.
It's just too bad you won't be able to play both, because both of those are going to be must play this year.
100% agree. Dreammaker has been one of my favorites of the last few. I think I've done it 3 times. three times now, three times, the last 3 years. So this will be my first time in 4 years missing Dreammaker, which is unfortunate. But every time that I've been at Dreammaker, I'm always like, oh, Gaps looks so fun. And another tournament that you're going to mention here in a second coming up that is also in Sault Ste. Marie, I won't be able to attend, unfortunately, due to a wedding. So I'm going to make sure I make it out to the Sault at least once and hit up Gaps.
And that other event is open now for registration. That is the NOC, the Northern Ontario Championships, again up in the Sault. That takes place the last weekend of September. I'm sad that I won't be able to make it either. I'm going to be at the MVP Open, hanging out on hole 14, flagging discs in the lake. But everybody else, you should definitely sign up for that. The NOC is always a fantastic event. And I mean, Sault Ste. Marie in September, that's going to be absolutely beautiful. Sign up now while you still can.
Absolutely. Get on all of those registrations. And as I remind everybody when we talk about registrations, make sure if there is a tournament coming up that you want to make sure you do not miss, and that is becoming more and more crucial these days in Ontario disc golf, make sure that you're signing up when registration opens so you don't get stuck on a wait list. Go into the tournament on Disc Golf Scene, click that little follow button, and you'll get email reminders when registration is opening. Super helpful there. Moving on now to a little more general disc golf news. The DGPT is moving forward with basket testing. This was something that we talked about, I believe, at the end of last year. There was an initial sort of preliminary testing phase at the end of the 2024 season, but is going to move forward. This is directly from the press release that the DGPT put out, saying that the tour is holding its next equipment testing session in conjunction with this year's Kansas City Wide Open in the days ahead of the tournament. And it also says any and all basket manufacturers who want their basket approved for tour use moving forward must submit their basket for testing. And then there's a link if you are somebody that makes baskets and wants to submit it, you can do that. I doubt anybody listening to this podcast applies in that category, but you never know. But yeah, interested any of your guys' quick thoughts on that. I mean, this is something that I've wanted for a while, standardized baskets on tour, a better system for it, and going through the preliminary testing and now this basket testing, they're handling it the right way, which I really like. So curious your guys' thoughts.
I think it makes sense to have certified baskets on tour. Make sure that I think there can still be a wide variety of styles and flavors. Like I want to make sure that like Prodigy baskets, the sometimes reviled Prodigy baskets, I want them to stay on tour because that's something different that the pros have to adapt to. I kind of like that. I don't think they should necessarily put onto the exact same basket or minor variations on a theme week in, week out. I was listening to the Will Schustrick interview on the Upshot, I think it was, and it was interesting. They asked him if their Prodigy was submitting baskets to be tested. He said they absolutely are going to, but they haven't done so yet because they can't keep them in. They have no baskets to actually submit because all the baskets that they make are going to courses. So I'm curious if, at what point they're going to be submitting them to the Pro Tour for review. I'm also curious if like RPM is going to be submitting their Helix basket. Those are so beautiful with like the champagne glass.
They look awesome.
They look so good. They're the prettiest baskets on tour. And
from what I've heard from people that have played on them too, they sound like they're good. Like they catch one.
Yeah. I was messaging with Sophia Dunica and she liked them when she was on the Down Under tour. So, it'd be nice to see those pop up on a spot or two here.
Yeah, I dig it. I don't have much to add. I do like the idea of moving to this model, consistent standard, but agree with Sean that I hope we don't lose the variance. Like if there are certain baskets that are being pushed out, I don't necessarily love that, but making sure the baskets that are there's at least a consistent standard, even if you're going to be sort of deviating from that in different ways, I think is something I'm all for sure.
I'm going to be keeping my eye on this for sure, but how this process goes and, what baskets end up on tour. I'm not sure if this will be something that is implemented for the 2026 season or what the plan is, but all we know right now is that they are moving forward with that testing process. So something to keep an eye on. Elsewhere in disc golf news, we are recording on the second Tuesday of March, which means that it is ratings update day. And Owen Scoggins has become only the third FPO player ever to crack the 990 club. Oh, and she's in her 40s. No big deal. Just saying that out loud is absolutely mind-boggling to me. She is FP40. Well, I mean, plays still mostly FPO, but she's a FP40 Masters World Champion. I'm pretty sure multiple time at this point, I think, and is still improving her game to now reaching a career high 990, which is absolutely insane. I did also take a look earlier. I was looking at some of the ratings on the MPO side. Gannon Burr was talking earlier this year, before the season, about pursuing the rating record, which in MPO is 1062 by Paul Macbeth. So he was looking to get 1063. He dropped 2 ratings points this update, so not good for that. And the other one that stood out to me was with a 2-point ratings jump and a 1-point rating drop for his brother. Ezra Robinson is now the highest rated Robinson brother and third highest rated player in the world. Absolutely incredible. And Isaac is still, I think he's tied for 4th with Calvin. So 2 brothers being tied for top 4 highest rated players in the world is pretty crazy. Any thoughts from you guys on ratings update day?
I'm just curious if and when we see additional names joining Owen and Kristen, and previously Paige Pierce on that North and 990 list. Because, I was just sort of figured while you were talking there, I'd take a look. Because I knew there were a couple FPO players creeping up there, like Missy Gannon's at 9, that was in 2024. Let me just reset this. I think
Olin
she's
Handley,
still,
I think, is at 987. She went up 1 point this month.
I see, on the PDGA player statistics, I'm seeing her at 986, so I guess it hasn't caught up. Evelina at 985, Missy at 984, like even Silva at 975. Like that's a gap, but 15 points in a season, given how she's been playing, isn't unthinkable. I do also love that when you sort 2000, when you go to the statistics page of FPO for 2025, the first name you see is Sofia Dunica because she has the most points of any FPO player thus far. So let's go, Sophia. And of course, the obvious missing name there, because Owen is at the top, is Kristen Lett because she hasn't played it all yet in 2025. But like we were talking about, I guess for us it's before, for the show it'll be in a little bit. We will be talking with Macie Velediaz about how the level of competition has really, really edged up in the FPO field. And I wonder if by season's end there aren't another 1, 2, even 3 names on that North and 990 list. So very cool to see FPO ticking along at such a high level of competition.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I certainly, if I was placing bets on who's the next one up to get there, absolutely zero shocker to hear me say that it would be Holland Hanley. I think everybody predicted me as I even led into that statement. Everybody predicted that I would have said Holland. I think she's going to have an incredible year, and yeah, 990 for her certainly something that I think can be accomplished this season for her. I definitely think so. All right, so moving on now back to where we are here in Ontario, Canada, and it is almost disc golf season. The snow is starting to melt. We've got tournaments coming up, 2 tournaments this weekend. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for a little preview.
Since we don't have any tournaments to recap yet, we're We're going to have it on the next show. We have two big tournaments happening this weekend. The Toronto Open at Dentonia and Scarlet Woods, and the King's Forest Open at King's Forest in Hamilton. The events were coordinated so that players will be able to play both events. So, FPO, MPO on Saturday at King's Forest, and then Sunday at Scarlet Woods. 180 players are going to be taking on King's Forest, which is, again, where the pros are going to start their weekend. MPO has a field of 16, including friends of the show Cam Zanini, Marty Hendel, Thomas Gilbert, Thomas Hums, Chris Azolins, and Ezra Lockington. Like, we're getting everybody on this show eventually. Over on the FPO side, there are 5 players playing, including friends of the show Colleen McInnes, Kat Johnson, and Alicia Hums. Alex Paletto and Sandy Hendel are rounding out the FPO field there. And then over on the Toronto Open side, we've got 168 players playing that event. This is the first year that the Toronto Open has been sanctioned, and Dentonia is going to be featuring a full 18-hole layout, which is super, super exciting. Sadly, my division, MA50, is going to be playing, God help me, Scarlet Woods, 1 round of gold and 1 round of blue. I'm not sure if I'm going to survive the first round of gold and be able to actually play the round of blue. But, oh well, what are you going to do? The heavy hitters are showing up to this one as well. I don't know how these guys are still going to have an arm after 2 rounds at King's Forest. But we're going to have, again, Thomas Gilbert, Ezra Lockington, Thomas Hums, Marty Hendel. And then on the FPO side, it's cut and paste the same 5 players that are playing King's Forest. It's going to be super cool to see this first tournament of the year, who's going to take it down. And so I'm asking you boys, who's going to take it down? Let's do some Ontario picks. Let's start off with the King's Forest Open and go to you, Robbie. Who are your picks, MPO and FPO?
I absolutely love that. One little slight correction. Thomas Gilbert is not playing KFO.
Is it? Oh, my mistake.
No, I just pulled up the registration because I was like, oh, that means I could give him the award at KFO while I'm there. So I pulled it up. So no, he is not there. Marty, Chris Ozolins, Cam Zanini, Chris Toe, Calvin Rorta, Ezra Lockington, Thomas Hums, they're all there. And Thomas will be there for the Toronto Open. But starting with KFO, if I'm starting it off, it is, how can you pick against Chris Ozolins on his home turf? I think he won last year's tournament. Anybody that wants to watch last year's tournament, check it out on Canadian Disc Golf Productions to hear my lovely voice doing commentary. And I think Oz won it by like 12 strokes or something like that. Now Marty wasn't in the field. I believe Cam was there. I can't fully remember. But I'm still hard to bet against Oz on his home turf. So that's where I'm going to go with that. And on the FPO side, hard to go against friend of the pod, Colleen McInnes. I think she's got everything to take it down out there. Although I'm sure one of you guys will take her. I will say I was slightly debating in my mind there between her and Alex Paletto, because Alex Paletto can throw the heck out of a disc, and at King's Forest that'll be certainly handy. But yeah, Chris and Colleen for me, and it looks like Sean, we're gonna do you second.
Yeah, apparently I'm going second. So I'm going to go other friend of the show. Let's go Marty. I'll take Marty Hendel, highest rated player in the division.
Highest rated player in Canada.
Well, there you go. Oh, he has surpassed Thomas.
It's him. He surpassed Thomas last year. We actually talked about it on the pod. I think currently
Don't
it
assume that I
goes.
listen when these things.
That's true. That's a very good
Yeah.
point. I'm pretty confident right now. It goes Marty, Casey Hannemeyer, and then Thomas. All
Wow.
very close to each other. I think it's like
Cool.
10-17, 10-16, 10-15.
So give me Marty. If the ground is soft, he's going to be throwing those rollers all over the place. It would be
That
awesome to watch. Yes. On FPO, I'm going to go. I was thinking Alex as well. She's been crushing it at the East End Putting League, so her putts are really warmed up. But I'll take Alicia. I'll take Alicia Hums on this one.
2024 KFO champ. It was a slimmer field. I think it might have been just her and Jess Goulet last year, but most recent and defending champion. Okay, well, those are some great picks off the board. I think I'm going to start on the FPO side. I was thinking along the same lines as you were when you were talking through it, Robbie. She can throw the heck out of a disc. Or maybe it was Sean that had that line. I'm going to take Alex Paletto for FPO. And we just established that Thomas was not playing, even though I'm looking at his name in our commentary here, in our show notes. So I am going to go with...
Other Thomas Hums is there.
I really thought about taking Thomas, and I was kind of hoping that you wouldn't take Alicia so I could take the power couple. Go.
Let me tempt you. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram or if you saw, but he did a practice round at Scarlet Woods, and he recorded a throw at 518 feet on hole 1 on the gold.
This is a
monster smash, and King's Forest, if you've got an arm, you can do very well there. So something
a monster mash is good for you on King's Forest.
Yeah. So something to keep in mind in your picks.
I'm tempted, and this could definitely come and bite me in the ass. The name that I had in my head before you gave me a bunch of good reasons to pick Thomas was another friend of the show, Cam Zanini. I think I'm going to stick with Cam. I would not be shocked, though, if Thomas goes on a run, or honestly, if almost anybody in the field does, because we have a pretty friggin' stacked field over at King's Forest, and the same thing at the Toronto Open, so... We'll see.
We absolutely do.
The Humses could do me dirty, and I wouldn't even be mad.
Nope. So let's go to their Toronto Open picks. Galen, we're going to kick it back to you. What do you think?
Okay, well, I'm going to take then the player who I thought I could take for a second at the King's Forest, and then found out I couldn't. So we're going to take Thomas Gilbert off the board, number 1. Lock it and load it. And on FPO, let's see, we've got Sandy, we've got Colleen, Alex Paletto, Alicia, and Kat Johnson. I think I'm going to have to take the highest rated female player in the tournament off the board. And dear friend of the pod and of me, I'll take Colleen McInnes.
And just so you know, FPO is playing the 1 round gold and 1 round blue.
Okay, yeah, I think that probably lines up pretty well. I don't know the course intimately well, because I actually shockingly have never played. Just a bit of a jog for a guy from Milton, and King's Forest is always tempting in the winter. But from what I know of Scarlet Woods from afar, I think that would line up well for Colleen. She's got a bit of an arm. So Colleen McInnes, lock it in. Robbie, how about you? You're up next. What are your picks?
Hard to argue with those. Thomas definitely would have been my pick here. It's just such a bomber's course. I think this course was like literally designed with Thomas Gilbert and his ridiculous arm in mind. So definitely a great pick there. But we were just talking about another Thomas that can absolutely bomb a disc. And yes, I did see he was out there today, getting a practice round in, ripping bombs. So I'm going to go with Thomas Hums and somebody else that was out there today practicing with Thomas Hums, Miss Alicia Hums, or Mrs. Alicia Hums. I am going to go with the power couple. Another one where I'm definitely debating on picking Alex Paletto. Like I said, this is a thrower's course, and she can definitely rip. But I'm gonna go with the power couple. I'm gonna go with the hums.
I'm not letting. I'm quite comfortable taking Alex Paletto as my FPO pick. Yeah, no question. For MPO, give me Ezra Lockington.
I was debating on it.
Yeah, I think this is going to suit his game really well.
He throws so hard and so far.
Yep. I think a sleeper is going to be Calvin Roorda. I mean, he can absolutely bomb, like casual bombing, and he's a fantastic putter. But I think for this one, I'm going to take Ezra Lockington.
Toronto Slush attempted amateur Calvin Roorda to you.
Yes, notable attempted mega sandbagger, Calvin Roorda.
Incredible. Got to be the highest rated try and sneak into an AM division at an unsanctioned tournament ever. Maybe not. There's definitely somebody that's beaten that, but Toronto Slush sandbagger extraordinaire, Calvin Roorda. And yes, I really like that Ezra Lockington pick. I was really debating on it between him and Thomas, because he can mash. I have seen him at tournaments before, but I guess I'd never really seen his arm open up fully. And when I saw him at provincials last year at Huntsville Downs, what was it, hole 14 or 15, the one that was on that like cliff surface, he like ripped the plastic off of it. It was disintegrating in the air how hard he threw this thing. Same with the hole after that. So definitely a great pick there. And that was a little
smashing the heck out of Huntsville Downs golf course is, that's why I'm thinking Scarlet Woods. I was thinking as well, possible for KFO as well. You got the elevation as well that comes into play there. And he's absolutely going to do incredible there.
Yeah, definitely one of the most talented throwers in the province, with a lot of, and he's still super young, with a lot of room to improve and still grow in his game. And he's 986 rated right now. So we talked about ratings a little earlier. We'll see how high Ezra can get it this year. Definitely going to be looking for Ezra to do big things this year. And if you want to know a little more about Ezra, go check out our interview with him from last year. He was a fantastic guest. All right, gentlemen, we have arrived at our feature interview for this evening. Very excited to have on this guest. We are bringing you Macie Velediaz, fresh off of a 5th place finish at the Supreme Flight Open to start the DGPT season. Great chat with Macie, so we'll be right back on Mr. Mando. Our next guest joined the PDGA in 2018, went pro the same year, and in 37 FPO events from 2018 to 2020, racked up 23 wins with an insane average finish of 2.2 in those events. She had a breakout in 2021 with 2 podiums and a 4th place finish in only 5 Elite Series events, and also finished 7th in a stacked field at Throw Pink. In 2022, she collected 6 top 10s at Elite Series and major events, and in 2023, she collected another 5 top 10s, including 2nd place at the Music City Open. 2024 was a shortened season as she welcomed a beautiful baby girl, Layla, to the world. But before that, finished 14th at the Music City Open while 31 weeks pregnant. Most recently, she started 2025 by finishing 5th at the Supreme Flight Open, where she shot a 997 event average, the highest of her career. With her career top 10 percentage of 40%, she's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players in the FPO field. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Mist Mando podcast from Morristown, Tennessee, Macie Velediaz. Macie, thanks for joining the show.
Oh, thank you. I love that. It was like taking me back. I haven't actually heard that in so long. So thank you.
You're getting a little bit of flashbacks and good memories coming back through that.
Yeah,
well, I got to bring out Got to bring out the good stuff when we bring on the big guns here on Missed Mando. But before we get into all that stuff, all those accomplishments that I was talking about, as we like to do with new guests here on the show, let's take things back to the start of your disc golf career. I mentioned that you joined the PDGA in 2018. Was that when you started playing as well? How were you sort of originally introduced to the sport? What's the Macie Velediaz intro to disc golf story?
So I started playing in 2017, and me and Jamie, my husband, met in 2016. And he was playing all the time, and then I just started playing with him because I either was going to walk or going to play. So I just started playing, and I played softball, so that kind of helps a lot. And then yeah, that's how I got started. And we started playing like every single day, and then I started playing tournaments, and I think I won my first tournament I played. So I was like, okay, I could do this. And then I don't know, kept getting better, and here I am.
How quickly did you surpass your husband and just absolutely start smoking him on the field?
He's better than me for sure. I mean, he is, but actually the funny thing is, he just told me today, he's like, hey, you wanna know something crazy? Because he doesn't play like tournaments anymore. He started caddying for me, so he just doesn't play that much anymore. But he actually played a tournament this weekend, and his rating updated, and me and him are the exact same rating, so it's pretty funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So 2021 was a breakout for you with 2 podiums and a 4th place finish in 5 Elite Series events, plus the 7th place in the stacked field at Throping. Was it your performance at these events that sort of gave you the confidence to really jump on tour in 2022, or was touring already sort of the plan for you at that point?
Honestly, Jamie was giving me so much confidence because he was like, you can do it. Like, I believe in you so much. And he was like, you're going to be the top FPL player in the world one day. Like, he was always giving me that confidence. So when I went to those tournaments in the beginning, like, I wasn't nervous at all. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I guess like just when you're new, you're so excited and you're just like happy to be there. That's kind of how I felt. And then I had all this confidence from him caddying for me. So like, I think that helped me like go into the next season. Then the next season, I was definitely more like nervous because I thought like, oh, I'm going to win these tournaments. I'm like, like I thought like everything's just going to come to me. And then, things happen where, it's not as easy as you think it is.
The difference between being a successful local pro and then being a pro on tour, I imagine, is quite the jump.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. There's not that many women that play in my area. So like, it was like I'm competing against 3 people or 4 people at a tournament, then going to compete to like 30 to 50 people. So it was definitely a big change.
You're still holding your own though. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
And since joining the tour, you've had plenty of solid performances, cashing in 35 of 40 Elite Series or major events that you've played, only missing cash 5 times, which is absolutely incredible, and collecting 16 top 10s. But there seems to be something about the Music City Open that really brings out the best in you, with 2 third-place finishes in 2021 and 2022, second in 2023, and then 14th place last year, which was incredible given that you were 31 weeks pregnant at the time. What is it about that event that brings out the best in your game? Is it the course? I mean, you're also a 2-time Tennessee state champion. Is it something about just the food in Tennessee that being back in the state brings out the best in you? What is it?
I just think that it just feels like home when I play these tournaments. Like people come and see me that like are my family. I just like, I get so excited to play this tournament every single year. And I don't know, I love the environment. It's only 3.5 hours from my house. So it's like, we don't have to travel far. And then also the course does set up really good for my game. Like a lot of forehands, a lot of forehand approaches, a lot of OB. And I tend to like be more consistent. I don't go out of bounds as much. So I think it's because I don't like go for things when I know that like I'm out of position for. So I think that course really is a lot of Bs and, like I said, a lot of forehand. So I think that helped.
Well, is 2025 the year that Macie Velediaz finally takes down the Music City Open? I will say that when we make picks on this show for that tournament, I might be sneaking your name in there. I've definitely got the confidence. Is this the year for Macie?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is my year to win one. I just feel so like different after having Layla. I just feel so confident on the course. I feel like no nerves. Like usually, like what was holding me back before with my mental game, like I would step up to the tee pad and think of all the negative thoughts. Like, okay, don't turn it over. You're going to go out of bounds. Don't release early. You're going to hit this tree. And then like at the Florida tournament, I didn't think any negative thoughts stepping up to the tee pad. The whole time, all I thought is I really thought I was going to win the tournament. I really did. Like the whole time, like I could just see myself holding the trophy. So I really do think that this is going to be my year to win. And if it's not, it's okay because like I'm going to get to come home to a beautiful daughter and a loving husband. So either way, they're going to love me no matter what. So, but I really do think it's going to be my year.
Well, I'm wondering if that vision of the trophy might have just been one or two or a few tournaments early. We'll see what the season has to hold.
Yeah.
And normally you sort of segue naturally into where we're going to go next. When we interview touring pros in the show, we usually ask about the off season, and we would have asked you how you would have spent your last off season. But we have a bit of a hunch with you having become a mom to a beautiful baby girl last year that has been probably a pretty full-time occupation. And I actually find myself as a disc golfer about to have a baby of my own this June. My wife is expecting. Thank you so much. She's due on June 20th, so who knows? She shows up a little bit earlier. Our babies could have the same birthday.
Yeah, Layla was due on June 20th.
You never know.
That's awesome.
No way. Yeah. She was due June 20th, as if.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I was going to say, any advice for a disc golfing soon-to-be parent over here on Miss Mando?
Yeah, well, I definitely think it takes a village because if I did not have my mom, Jamie, or his mom, like I wouldn't be able to do it at all because like it really does take people. And also like it's the very first like couple months, it's like hectic, like crazy. It really is. Like you're just like you have your baby and then you take her home and then she's yours. It's like you have to do everything and like I don't know. I just felt like knowing that that's how it's going to be and then still being able to find time for yourself because I always say like if I'm happy and I can still enjoy what I want to do, then she's going to be happy. So I'm so excited. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm when I saw that your baby was born on June 12th, I went, oh, no way, that's so close. But the fact that she was due on the 20th too, I love that.
Yeah.
So I assume, of course, she has a PDGA number already. She's got her own signature disc, or is that for a few years later?
I think we're going to wait to do that. I think I'm going to just see how, like, I think it's so cool how many people are joining, and I want to see, like, whenever she starts, what's the number going to be then? I hope she likes it. I mean, we're always outdoors, either playing disc golf or playing pickleball, so.
Love that. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that maybe is a little bit cheesy, and probably people that aren't parents are going to go, Galen, stop wasting time talking about parenting stuff. But yeah, I think it's really cool that in 2025, when my baby is born, she's going to have strong and successful female role models that play the sports that I play, because that wouldn't always been the case, that there would be women making a living playing disc golf or women making a living playing hockey. And the fact that she gets to grow up in that world is really meaningful to me. So I'm excited. But anyway, back to the sort of disc golf, at least adjacent, sort of line of questioning. I am curious, what does that look like an off season for you as a new mom? That must have disrupted your actual disc golfing routine a fair bit. Did you even have a disc golfing routine in the off season?
Yeah, I want to be honest. I didn't play much at all. Honestly, I just took care of her. I stayed actively played indoor pickleball, but it was like really cold here, and I was like, I'm not going to get out, and I don't want her to be out in the cold, so we didn't go much. It's really funny because I also didn't get a practice round in for the Florida tournament. I just got there Thursday night and then played Friday morning. And I think it helped a lot because I wasn't nervous, like I said, going up to the tee pad because I had no clue where the holes were or the landing zone is. But yeah, it was kind of like not that much disc golf, taking care of her, and I wouldn't have had it either way, honestly.
Well, it is clearly working, so can't mess with a good thing.
Yeah, so you had your highest tournament average of your career at the Supreme Flight Open, averaging 997 over the 3 rounds. Just incredible shooting. I know you played with Cat Merch, I think, last year at All-Star Doubles. My wife and I were there watching in the pouring rain.
Awesome.
That miserable weekend. Other than the Friday for the skills competition, that was super
Yeah.
fun and actually sunny. But had you played the full course much before the Supreme Flight?
No, I only played the All Stars layout, and then it was all with DGA stuff, so I didn't know what I was going to throw. And then also, I didn't have I just rejoined with DD, so I didn't have a lot of the discs that I had before. So I just started forehanding different discs. Like I put a Raider in the bag 2 days before the tournament, and I threw that Raider. It was a Zach Mellon stamp Raider, but I threw it on every hole that was a big downhill, and it worked every time. So I'm like, hey, I'm keeping it, I guess.
And there are a few of those at Olympus.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy playing the course? It's one of my all-time favorite courses to play. It was clearly working really well for your game.
Yeah, no, I like that course a lot. It's definitely one of my top 3 for sure. And I think that I'm going to keep coming back there until they stop running the tournament. I really like it. It really does help my game too. Like I think I think what helps is me throwing the big downhill holes is throwing a forehand because I can see it the whole time. I have to put it on one ankle and then it goes. It's really hard to throw a backhand that's like slipping late or, not hyzering out and I think like I said, I'm pretty consistent. Like I don't go for things that I shouldn't. So I think that helps a lot too.
I mean, clearly that's a pretty effective strategy on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, well, I think that what costed me the tournament was I had a lot of putts for par that I made, but the putts for birdie I didn't make. And I don't know if what it was. Like they didn't feel any different. I didn't feel nervous when I was putting them. They just weren't going in. And I think that, I don't know, it just wasn't my one to win, but after the chance.
Maybe it was just, you haven't had a lot of time to learn your new bag yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
First tournament jitters, who knows? But I mean,
Yeah.
like we were watching it for, here on coverage, and your performance was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I completely agree with Sean there. And a 997 event average would have almost certainly provided a win in past seasons in the FPO division. But with how the FPO field has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger in recent years, it's more necessary to now average over 1,000 rated in order to take a win on tour. As somebody that's been around now for a few seasons on tour, how have you seen the FPO field change and evolve over the years?
It's amazing. I mean, almost everybody on tour now has some type of forehand. And I remember when I first started, there was only 2 or 3 that had forehands. And if they did have forehands, they didn't have backhand. But now it's like every person has both, or they can do one if they need to. And everybody, it's insane. The putting is crazy. Like they can make so many putts outside the circle. That's like that. I think that was also never the case before. And also it was really funny because I was talking with Paul and she threw a Spykizer forehand over the trees or something, and she was like, "Yeah, I just thought, what would MPO do there?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "That's such an MPO line, like a big Spykizer forehand over everything." Like you don't see many FPO doing that, but now that people are getting these strong forehand and backhands, you might see these really cool lines that you didn't see before.
Have you, with the change and evolution of the skill in the division, have you had to evolve as an athlete over that time as well? Have you had to change anything within training or anything like that to help you, stay competitive in a continually strengthening field all the time?
Yeah, honestly, I think I've always had the talent to do it. It kind of came naturally to me. I think it was just you know, making everything consistent. Because, before I was I could throw it really far, I could throw a forehand really far, but who knows where it was going. So that was kind of what I need to do, was just get everything consistent. And now I think like I have everything that it takes. It was just mentally for me that was lacking. And I've been doing a lot like this, honestly, the off season, I didn't mention this, but I was doing a lot of like visualizing stuff, like telling myself that I can do this, I am going to do this, I'm going to make big putts, I'm going to win tournaments. And I kept telling myself that over and over again. And I think that's put me in the right mentality for the rest of the year and in the disc golf tournaments.
Yeah, they talk about new mom strength, and I think it might be mental strength. I mean, some physical strength, of course, too, but mental strength, of course. Everything you're saying there, that new mom strength playing effect into the mental game as well, and that's something that I always love hearing. Specifically, disc golfers talk about the mental side of the sport, because I feel like it's something that was previously not really talked about as much and is now becoming, I think, just as the field has just gotten, there's so many talented players in all of disc golf, and the FBO field especially has gotten so strong. How do you sort of, like, was it just sort of like a natural sort of like change, or was it something that you had to, work on to sort of be on that sort of new mental game? I didn't word that great, but I think you know what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, no, I think like at first I had to work on it. I would keep like just telling myself like, keep talking positive, keep, because like honestly, having a baby and like going through the things that you go through, and like when I was pregnant, like a lot of things happened where I was like pretty down, like I didn't know what I was going to do with disc golf. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then having her, and then it's like, I don't want to get like graphic or anything, but like having a baby is a lot, and then afterwards is a lot. So like I think that just having that like has made me stronger mentally as a person, because like you do go through a lot, and it does bring you. It's like you're going through a lot, but you're also the happiest time of your life, So it's like I think something clicked in my mind where I was like, there's nothing that I can control, and if I can just tell myself like, just be positive, be happy, then she's going to be happy, and then our family's going to be happy. That's all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if I'm going to get to the tournament on time, or if I'm going to be able to play good at this tournament, or if I'm going to play the tournament I wanted to play, because at the end it all works out like it's supposed to. And as long as we're happy and she's happy, and that's all I care about.
I'm going to tell that to my wife whenever it's time for the next baby, that we need another baby so I can be better at disc golf.
Okay.
Need to up my mental game. So can we uproot our lives and alter our lives forever? Because I want to be 2 ratings points better and get to 876. That's what we need.
Absolutely crush MA3.
Oh, yeah, you know it, Sean. Can't wait to sandbag my way to another title. Hey, listen, let's take a bit of a pivot here. We were talking before about your bag. You mentioned your Raider. So we know that after one season with DGA, you signed a 1-year contract in the off season to go back to Dynamic Discs. What led to the decision to go back?
Honestly, I think like the reason why I left in the first place is because there was just a lot of miscommunication. Like I do think if we, both sides, talked about it more than what we did, I think I might not have left. But it was just kind of like, we really did not communicate well at all. And then I went with DGA, and I have nothing but great things to say about DGA. The people there are amazing, and I really like the disc, but I just didn't have time to really learn them, because like I was obviously throwing a lot different. I had a big belly at the time. So everything was just different, and I didn't play that much or that many tournaments, but really liked them. And then the off season, me and Dee Dee got back, just talking, and then we just kind of talked through what happened and like everything. And then I think it's the best decision that I made, because I think that I throw this plastic the best, and I'm most comfortable with it. I don't have to relearn things. Like I know what this is going to do. and I think it just feels like home. Like I'm supposed to be here. That's just what it feels like.
I love that. Feels like home. I was hoping to sarcastically tee you up to trash talk DGA, knowing that you would never actually do it. You would talk about how great they were, but you already beat me to it by talking about that being a great partnership too. But how long were you with DD before leaving in the end?
I think 4 years. Yeah, it was a long time. I actually
It's a long partnership.
Yeah, it was very long. I think like obviously being with someone for 4 years is like you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. That's just how it is. But I think like at the end of the day, the ups are just weighed everything. And honestly, the reason why I started with DD is because Zach Melton reached out to them for me, and I really another great person to talk about. I thank him a lot too because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would even be where I'm at today either. Like when I first joined DD, he gave me a bag full of discs. He gave me just everything that I needed and would always take me and like show me and like just give me all these new things. And now that I'm back with it, he's doing the exact same thing. Just giving me stuff and like telling me to throw this and like, yeah, he's great. Now don't let him get a big head because he will. But
Well, hey, if he wants to send a couple discs our way, give us some tips, we're here for it. None of us know how to play disc. Well, Robbie can kind of play disc golf. Sean and I, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Do you have a tour series disc lined up for this year?
yeah, I do. I don't know if we're allowed to say yet what it is, so I'm not going to.
Just say it. Just say it.
But we do.
we like the exclusive drops here on Miss Mando. Last episode, Annika Sten revealed her exclusive new disc for the year with Castaplast. So feel free to just drop it right now.
We know that your partnership with Dee Dee is going to one up anything she's doing with a Rico X over at Casta. So
no,
we're just teasing, but we can't wait to see what it is when the news is public. We're excited.
No, but they do have some soft justices right now that you could go and buy if you wanted. It was like with my very first stamp that I've ever had with them. So it's kind of like a royalty thing, like just helping me get back on tour and stuff. But yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your bag with DD. So you mentioned the Raider. Was that like an unexpected, like, or had you thrown it really before?
Well, I used to throw it a lot on backhands when I first started with them. That's all I threw it on because the forehand, it was kind of like I would turn them over a lot. But I just didn't have, what I really needed was rise. I would throw forehands with rise a lot the last like couple years, but I didn't have any of those. I don't know where they went. I don't know if I was practicing and lost them. I don't know what happened with them. I used to have a bunch, but they're all gone. And then Jamie gave me a Raider that he found and I started forehanding it, and then it worked for that tournament. So I think I'm gonna keep it in the bag. I'm also gonna add some rides back in the bag because they're a little bit more stable than the Raiders. So I think if I threw down 18 of rise the last round, I would have been closer to be able to go for eagle because there was a headwind and my Raider just turned a little bit too much, and I was almost out of bounds left. But it's okay.
I mean, you did get the eagle on round 1, if I remember.
Yeah, I missed my putt on round 2, so I knew that I could do it. Yeah, I knew that I could do it, but.
So, what was your approach to rebuilding the bag with DD? Were you sort of going back to old faithfuls, or were you exploring? This is still only your one tournament of the year, but are you exploring some of their newer molds, or what are your must-have discs in the bag?
Well, I actually just put all of my old stuff back in my bag for this tournament.
That makes it easy.
Except the rides. So I threw everything like Explorers. I've had this fuse in my bag since I first started. I like Supreme Trespasses a lot for like distance shots. I have a Hannah Wynn King that I actually threw on hole 1 every round. Verdicts, Justices, Harps. I putt with juries now. Those are new. I just started putting with classic juries actually like the week before the tournament because Zach was like, you should try these. And then I was like, okay. And then I just started putting with them like, sure. And I just took them to the tournament and putted with them. I used to putt with judges before. And so now I'm playing with those. But I think yesterday on Sunday at the tournament, Zach let me throw some strides. And they're like distance drivers that I haven't done before. And I think I'm going to like those. They're not like a headwind disc, but they're definitely like a good understable distance disc. So I think I'm going to try those.
And so as a DD player, you're allowed to use all of Trilogy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's cool. But not the other House of Disc brands, not Casta or Discmania.
No, not those. But like Latitude and West Side and DD.
Cool.
Is that something that you find to your advantage as a player, having multiple brands that you are able to throw and be able to branch out, fill slots in different ways, and sort of have a wider range of discs? I mean, I can only imagine that it would certainly be beneficial.
Yeah, no, it helps a lot because I can like, I feel like in every slot that I need, I can fill it because like I'm not, and I don't have to like sit there and look and dig for like this disc. Like it's like they have everything I need. And also I think it helps a lot too when you're trying to like sell your stuff because like the people on the west side and Latitude, they can also promote my stuff too because they're throwing it. So it helps a lot that there too.
That is a fantastic point. So moving on through the rest of 2025, currently the only tournament you're registered for is the Music City Open. What is your plan for the rest of the 2025 season? Do you plan on adding more tour stops into the list? Are you just going to play more locally? What does 2025 look like for Macie?
I'm gonna play like 7 Pro Tour events. So I'm playing the Music City Open. I'm gonna play Idlewild, Ledgestone. I'm gonna play Des Moines. I'm gonna try to qualify for MVP and the Throw Pink tournament. And then I'm gonna play like some A tiers and then some local stuff. We just kind of wanted to go out and play, but we didn't want to play too much because Layla's still little and we're still trying to figure all that stuff out. But in the future, we definitely might go back to like full-time touring, but like I don't think we're ever going to go on the West Coast. It's just so far away from us. And then we might go to Europe in the future, but I'm not for sure.
Is there an event that you're most looking forward to this year, other than Music City, of course, because I feel like that may have taken the #1 spot? Any other event that you are just like itching to get back there, either for the course or the area or whatever reason?
Honestly, the tournaments that I picked, all of them I'm like so excited to play because I picked ones that like I'm like, okay, I've done good here in the past. Also, the tournaments that I picked, we have families there that host us. So I'm excited to see them. Like, Idlewild, for example, Zach Arlenhouse, he lives there. So we like, will stay with his dad and there's other touring pros that stay there. Like last year for Idlewild, we took Layla and she was like only 8 weeks old and it was so sweet. And then like Let's Show, we have another lady there that lets us stay with her. And then in MVP, we have a family there. So it's just, I really like, am excited for everyone. I know it's kind of silly, but I don't know.
Is part of you excited about having babysitters at these stops to get maybe, a little break away on the course? Layla, I'm sure, is wonderful, lovely, never any issues, but maybe a break.
I wouldn't, like, I like the last tournament because, like, her and Jamie, they stayed at the Airbnb, and then I come home, and then she was so excited to see me, and they were watching live, so it was really nice. And then the last day, they actually, like, kind of walked around, but, like, I didn't really feed them that much. But, like, the other tournaments where there are people there that we know, like, I know last year at Idlewild, Little Zach's mom actually watched Layla one day so that Jamie could caddy. So it is nice because I do miss him being on the bag. It kind of helps, like, I don't have to think about what to throw. He just is like, okay, you should throw this. Like, it kind of helps me with the confidence of like, okay, he trusts me. He knows I can throw this shot. Like, I'm gonna, I can throw it. But yeah, no, that will be nice. We'll see how it goes. She's kind of right now she's kind of like stranger danger. So she doesn't really like want people that she doesn't know to like hold her. So we'll have to see when that time comes.
I dig it. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly don a very important prop here for this next question. Robbie and I would be remiss if we didn't, sorry, as I don my Cardinal Disc Golf hat, if we didn't take this opportunity to shamelessly plug Cardinal Disc Golf at least once while we have you here, because he and I are both new team members this year, much lower on the totem pole than you are. But Robbie thinks, and I do too, that you have one of the best signature jerseys that Cardinal has. How have you enjoyed working with them, and how did that partnership come to be?
They are honestly great people. I think that like when I was going through the like not having a sponsor when I was pregnant and like kind of that thing, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we really would like to help you. Like we they started getting like little onesies with cardinal on it, and they're like all of the like everything comes to me that they make off of that. Like they're so nice, and then they just I do think that they have made great jerseys. Like I do think my jersey is like one of the best. I love it, and I can't wait to rock it on the course. And if you guys should too, but they're great people, and I don't know. I think I kind of like last year I wasn't the best at like promoting stuff, but also I think I had a baby. So like I wasn't really like sitting there like trying to like promote everything, you know? But this year, like I'm going to get out there. I'm going to definitely do my best to do that. And I do want to like say like they are great people, and yeah, you should get my jersey or a little onesie.
I was just going to ask about the onesie because now I am going to try to get my hands on one of those. So that is an item that is still actively being sold by Cardinal.
I think so. I mean, they have pink ones, blue ones, and black ones.
Perfect. Okay, I can't wait to buy another new jersey and a onesie or two. My first order was one of their Black Friday drops and a Stacey Ronsley plus the hat. But I'm eyeing up your jersey with envy right now. Did you have any input on the design? I'm curious how that process worked. Is that something they came to you with? Did you come to them? A little bit of a team effort?
Yeah, it was a team effort. They kind of like, they have their designs kind of like picked out like what they think would look best, and then they ask you like, do you like this, or this one, or which one's your favorite? What color would you like? And that. So yeah, it was definitely a team effort for sure.
Love that. Well, they look awesome. So
fantastic. Well, I'm also not very creative, so I could not come up with anything on my own.
I am actually the same professionally, where if you bring me a first draft, I can edit like it ain't nobody's business. If you sit me alone in front of a computer screen, that's a little bit harder to start from scratch.
Yeah, no, I could not do that.
So we just pivot to a different line of questions here. So we have a very healthy women's disc golf scene here in Ontario where we live. Do you have, and we have a number of women listeners to our show. Do you have any advice for female players who are looking to sort of progress up the divisions and maybe go pro?
Yeah, I think that one thing is like, when I first started, I was very nervous and scared to like throw in front of people because I was like, I'm embarrassed. I don't want people to make fun of me. But honestly, I think that there might be some people, but most people are not going to make fun of you. They're going to be encouraging and really happy that you're out there playing, because there's not a lot of women that play, like, especially locally, like, that are wanting to become pro, you know? And I think that it's like just finding like what works best for you. And obviously you can watch video, like Holland, she's a great like person to watch videos on, like she helps a lot. But like everybody has their own certain way of how they do it. And I think that one thing, the most important thing is just believe it in yourself, because if you keep going out there and practicing every day, and then believe in yourself, I think that's the most thing. Also, trying to find other women to play with, because a lot of times when you play with the men, you kind of get discouraged because you're like, I'm not throwing as far as them. They're all the way up the fairway and I'm always back in the back. And so if you can find women in your area to play, then that will help you a lot.
Well, if you're looking for some more women to play with, we're plugging this with all of our touring pros. There is the Canadian Championships are being held in Ontario, where we're from, on the weekend between D-Glow and GMC. And it is the weekend between, and geographically, it is right between those two. And so please feel free to consider yourself invited to come up in here and play. I think Raven Klein is going to be there. And I think a couple other of the women, the FPO touring pros, are going to be there as well. So it would be awesome to see you.
Yeah, okay. I'll think about it for sure.
All right. Well, Macie, we thank you so much for your time. Before we let you go, with all of our first-time guests, we'd like to hit you with a few lightning round questions. Just quick answers, whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
And
I'm going to move over here real quick.
Yeah, no worries. No worries at all.
It's about to die, and I thought it was like fully charged, and it's not.
Well, you wouldn't be the first guest to have a phone die on them in the middle of the interview, so we've dealt with it all here.
Well, it's the lightning round. If you have an iPhone, plug that lightning cable in, and it's very it's very appropriate.
Look at the wordplay from Galen here. But yes, these are all super easy questions. Just whatever comes to your mind first. And I've got a real easy one for you first. What's your favorite course?
Lake Marshall. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but it's a course in Virginia. And it's where I got my first Silver Series win. I think the course is beautiful. It's a beautiful lake. Yeah, I think Lake Marshall is my favorite.
I think that's a fun question, Robbie. I don't think that's easy at all. If you ask me my favorite course, I'd have to think about it for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
But maybe this one's a little bit easier, but based on experience, what's the hardest course you've ever played?
Ooh. I think Northwood Black. When I very first started playing there, like the first time I played there was the hardest course. Now I think that they've cut some trees and stuff. They've made it kind of more open where you can scramble. But the very first time I played there, it was like if you go off the fairway, you're getting cut up. You're never going to be able to even pitch out. So Northwood Black for sure.
I think I know the answer to this next one because I think you've already mentioned it. But what is one sport to play or watch other than disc golf? What are you choosing?
Pickleball for sure. I actually play tournaments. I actually really like it a lot. So,
Are you going FPO pickleball?
I do play in the open division, but it's more local. So I haven't branched out and played and stuff. But yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say pro, but I do have we have PGA ratings. They have Duper. So 5.0 is considered a pro, and I'm a 4.6. So tooting my own horn a little bit, but
No, toot away. Speaking of tooting, that sounded way worse. Coming out. I was thinking more along the lines of music, and that leads into this question. We're just gonna completely forget about the fact that I just said that. What song makes you instantly turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out when you're on a road trip?
man, see, this is hard for me because I like a lot. I love songs and I love to sing songs, especially to Layla. I love doing that. Um,
I mean, I feel like the answer should be Layla. No? The
I know.
classic rock anthem.
Everybody's always telling me. I've never heard it until I named her Layla, and then everybody's like, "Oh, did you know that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." But I think I like "Party in the USA." Uh, that's that song I like a lot. And I like country music a lot, but I can't Tennessee Whiskey's a really good one. There's so many good songs, but I don't know.
That was my my first dance song at my wedding with my wife. Tennessee
Oh,
Whiskey.
that's so
Fantastic choice.
sweet.
Yeah, no, it's the best. We had one of my friends on guitar, the other one singing. It was awesome.
Awesome.
I don't know. I never planned to talk as much about my personal life on this episode, but it seems like there's a lot of symmetry here, Macie.
Yeah,
So we'll see we'll see if the answer here is similar. What is your favorite place to stop for food on a road trip?
Ooh, I like this was only in Nashville, but I like this place called Hattie B's. It's so good. Also Chris Dickerson's favorite place, but it's really good fried chicken with mac and cheese and potato salad and they have the best banana pudding. And then I guess more of a chain place, Cane's. Cane's is very good. We don't have one here in Morristown or even close. So Cane's for sure.
Okay, I got to get down to the southern states and try out some of these places that I haven't heard of because
You never heard of Cane's?
I haven't. No, up in Ontario, I guess the news hasn't reached us yet, but it'll be world famous soon if it's as good as you say. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's really good.
What is a movie that never gets old, no matter how many times you watch it?
Okay, I have two. The Titanic, I could watch that all day. And then, Grease. I love Grease. I used to call it Old Slick when I was little. Love it.
How old do you think you'll be before you introduce Layla to those?
I don't know. I've already showed her, like, she didn't even know, but like I'll be playing High School Musical in the background because I love like a gal like singing the songs. So like probably soon, honestly.
I'm just one mention of High School Musical. I'm just gotta get your head in the game. That's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of this night now.
I should have
Which
said
I mean,
that's my go-to song.
there we go. There, perfect. Answering two questions in one. One last question I got for you, Macie, and this one's it's the most important one, if you ask me. If you could have any superpower, well, what would it be?
I think it would be, what's it called when you can like read people's minds? I would love to do that.
Yeah. I've heard it called mind reading
Is that
before.
what telekinesis is?
Oh, yeah. I would love to
Telepathy?
just like, yeah. I don't know. I would love to just hear
I
what
think
people are thinking.
I think telekinesis is moving stuff, and telepathy
Yeah.
is
Yeah, you might be
is
right.
reading.
Yeah.
Not that either of those really ever happened in the real
Nerd.
world, but I think that's what it's supposed to be. Robbie, if you would do your damn research.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Well, that is an excellent choice. And that does it for the lightning round. Absolutely, absolutely aced it. And before we let you go, Macie, we want to leave the floor open for you. If you have any shout outs that you would like to give or any final comments, whatever you would like, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all, and shout out to my husband, love him, Layla, but also Dynamic Disc. You should check out my tour series whenever it comes out. Also, the Justices that are out right now, my jerseys from Cardinal. Also, Dr. Christy Dyes. She has the best dyes. You should check on her too. And I just am so thankful for y'all having me again. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, thank you once again for joining us. Good luck with all of your events in the 2025 season. Like I said, I am absolutely going to be picking you for the Music City Open when we do our picks here. And we'll certainly be picking up a Macie Velediaz Cardinal jersey because the pink and black combo is just chef's kiss. It looks totally awesome. So good luck in the 2025 season. And thanks again for joining us, Macie.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll be back, right back on Missed Mando. Well, welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you once again so much to Macie Velediaz for joining us. Just an awesome chat with her. Like I mentioned at the end of that interview, I will certainly be looking for her to continue her success at the Music City Open, which is coming up. I think there's two events. I think we've got WACO and then Open at Austin, and then it's Music City Open. So very much looking forward to watching what Macie does at that event. But we are going to move on now to some Pro Tour recaps, and we have made it. We've made it through the winter. The 2025 DGPT season has officially kicked off with the All-Star Doubles event and the Supreme Flight Open in Brooksville, Florida. The action kicked off on Thursday with the All-Star Challenge, featuring one round of All-Stars from last season playing on 12 mixed doubles teams. Gannon Burr and Rebecca Cox, Anthony Barella and Paige Pierce, and Isaac Robinson and Hannah Blomroos all went to a three-way playoff, which featured some hilariously bad putting from all teams on the first hole, leading to Anthony and Paige being eliminated. The remaining two teams stayed deadlocked for another two holes before Gannon and Rebecca eventually took the win on hole 4. Friend of the pod, I mean, maybe we'll just ask Rebecca if she can, ask Gannon if he wants to come on, make it a full friend of the pod team. But love to see Rebecca take that down. Shawnee G, let's go over to you for some thoughts from the All-Star event.
This was so much fun to watch this year. The format was so much better than last year's confusing head-to-head, not match play weird thing. And in the pouring rain, like the weather was perfect for it. The course was in prime shape, and coming down to 3 teams in a playoff was just it was awesome. It was a really, really good tournament to watch on Disc Golf Network. And like you said it, the putting on hole one was so hilariously bad. Isaac Robinson's putt in particular I think it was to win it or to stay in?
It was to win.
And it was like
20 feet.
At most 20 feet.
Yeah.
And just like, nope, it's not in. Okay, we're going again. It was just absolutely
It was so
hilarious. It's like, oh, they're human like us.
One of us.
Yeah. What a fun event to start the season. I'm a little sad that we won't get it next year as they move the All-Stars to the end of the season, because this was a fun warm-up event.
We'll get it at the end of this season again, though. Assuming that, I don't know if they've announced what format they'll be doing. I think they just announced that there will be an all-star event at the end of the year. Hopefully they do something similar like this, because it was a lot of fun. I would like to see them add, like, if they're going to do an all-star event, make it a 2-day thing, with one day being doubles and one being more of the skill shot, the long distance drive, because especially with the distance drive, just everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see the big long drives, the crushes. And honestly, like the last year, the putting competition was fun. I kept I turned into the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, where he like whistles and points at the TV every time I saw Sean and Gabby just sitting around in the background. And then the skill shot too, I thought was really cool, the way that they did it last year. I think it was the year before where the skill shot was like they had like the random like stuff tied between the trees and you had to shoot through the zones. That was a little weirder. But this year, wherever they found that perfect spot, the trees lined up perfectly to hit the gaps. It was awesome. So hopefully they do bring that back. But the doubles event was definitely great. Galen, did you have any thoughts? I don't know if you were able to tune in and watch any of it at all.
I have no thoughts, and apparently you are a savant or something, because I was going to say, I thought about, just trying to fake my way through it, make some comments that riffed off of you guys, but you and Sean both know this is an insanely busy time for me personally and professionally. I would have loved to catch the event. I have not had the time to watch any of it. I didn't catch it live. I have not yet seen the Joe Mez coverage, so I look forward to watching that when I do have a little bit of time, throw it on the TV, kick back, relax, take it in, watch people miss some putts, but I didn't catch either the All-Star Challenge or the Supreme Flight Open as of yet, and I have great shame in my heart because of it, but I'm not gonna mislead our listener and pretend like I've seen events that I haven't, and I have not seen these two, sadly.
If you have a chance, definitely catch it on post-production. Just skip ahead to hole one of the playoff and just enjoy.
Just enjoy the comedy tour. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it live either, but the one video that I did see, I'm pretty sure it was the Disc Golf Pro Tour on their YouTube channel. They posted it was basically just the playoff. It was the last, I think, 2 holes as Gannon and Rebecca were finishing, because they had to birdie the last 2 holes to get into the playoff after taking a double bogey on 16. I believe that's how it worked. And then they showed the playoff with, the live commentary that was happening, but more condensed into like a highlight sort of highlight pack. And definitely worth going and checking that out. I think it's like 8 minutes long to watch that little highlight section, but they show that whole debacle on hole one with the putting, and it certainly gives a good chuckle.
More lowlights than highlights.
Yeah, it's good to know. Not that we don't love friend of the pod, Rebecca, but hey, Robbie, you're forgetting. Gannon is just like us. He is our teammate on Cardinal Disc Golf. Why go through an intermediary? We can just go, hey, teammate and equivalent contributor to the disc golf world. Would you like to join us on our very famous and well-known podcast? I think it'll go fantastic.
Yeah, we're on equal plane, us and Gannon Burr, 100%. Any other thoughts from you guys on the All-Star event, or should we move over? All right. Well, following up the All-Star event was, of course, The first DGPT event of the 2025 season, the Supreme Flight Open at the Olympus Disc Golf Course, which is owned by Paul Macbeth and MLB, I'll say star at this point. I think he was a finalist for the Cy Young last year in the National League, I believe, Dylan Cease. And of course, this is still happening in
Never heard of that
Florida.
person.
Step up your game. Come on. Used to pitch for the White Sox. Now he pitches for the San Diego Padres. Come on.
Sounds like two teams that are not the Toronto Blue Jays, so I could not be bothered.
That's true. I'm angry at the Blue Jays right now. But anyways, we're getting way off topic. Yes, this is down at the Olympus Disc Golf Course in Brooksville, Florida. The FPO division brought the fireworks with Ella Hansen, Evelina Salonen, and Holland Hanley going to a three-way playoff tied at 13 under par, where they would play hole 18 on repeat with the assist of a golf cart getting back to the tee pad, I should add, because if anyone familiar with hole 18, walking back and forth from the basket to the tee pad with that elevation change would not be fun. On the first playoff hole, Ella and Holland were able to card an eagle, while Evelina scored a bogey to end her chance at defending her title from last season. On the second playoff hole, it was Holland who took an unfortunate bogey, while Ella was able to once again get the eagle to secure her second Elite Series win of her career. I'm pretty sure she also eagled it to end the final round, so she just casually eagled a hole 3 straight times to win a tournament. Not a big deal. Over on the MPO side, after 5 podium finishes with 0 wins in 2024, Ezra Robinson finally gets the monkey off his back and wins the first Elite Series event of his career. Ezra went into the final round trailing defending champ Anthony Barella by 3 strokes, but shot the course record, a scorching hot 1087 rated -12, to come from behind and win by 6 strokes over Barella in second, with Paul Macbeth rounding out the podium in third. Ezra's 1073 event rating was also the highest of his career. We've known he's been able to do it for a while. He finally gets it done. Gentlemen, let's throw it over to you. Shawnee G, let's go to you first, since we've had Galen openly admit he never even watched this thing yet. So let's go over to you for some of your thoughts.
What an event! If you haven't watched it and your name is Galen, you should definitely watch this on post, or just go back to DGN and watch the whole thing. Olympus is absolutely one of the top courses on tour. It's one of the best courses in the world, I would say now. It is so unique when you're throwing up and down the cliffs of this quarry. It is so tough. The competition was so fierce. What an incredible start to the season. I mean, the FPO playoff, I can't remember. Putting aside All-Stars, when was the last time there was a 3-way playoff in either division? I can't think of the last time that's happened. I can't remember one since I've been playing, since 2021.
All the ones that are coming to my head are just 2-way playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. This was one for the record books. And it was just amazing to watch these pros just shred this course. It was such a great contest to watch. Couple things. Shout out to Chainlink Disc Golf's Jeff McKeegan and Kara Hovius, who were on staff for this event. We've seen video on the old Chainlink Instagram. Kara under the bleachers, assembling the bleachers. So cool. Jeff, he did something. We don't really know what he did. And then also shout out to Maryland Bell's legend, Andrew Kavanaugh, who was a scorekeeper for the event. I think he was the scorekeeper for the FPO playoffs. I think I saw a video of him on the back of the golf cart being shuttled back and forth on hole 18 with the players. It's super, super cool. So that was awesome to see some local people down making that event so good. The question that I have for you boys is, Discraft obviously had the best off season out of any company. They made the biggest moves. They signed the biggest players. And at this event, at least in the MPO, I think there was one player in one round who was not on the lead card for Discraft. So do you think that there will be a single event in 2025 where a Discraft player in MPO or FPO does not finish on the podium? What do you think? Galen, throw it to you.
I was when I was sort of segregating it to MPO or FPO, like have there be one of those sides where there's nobody on the podium. I went, just by volume. Of course, there's going to be one point at which either on MPO or FPO, there isn't a podium. But are you saying there's nobody on either at any one tournament?
Is it possible?
That's tough.
Like,
I have such a stacked lineup. I think I'm still going
under 0.5. Like, can there be a tournament in 2025 on the Pro Tour?
I'm still going to say yes, but I'm not at all confident in that answer. I think probably just some statistical fluke that happens once. There's one tournament where, for whatever reason, nobody's firing on all cylinders. Maybe there's a knot at 2 and a couple people that would have made a podium get bounced down to 4 or something. With the least confidence I've had in anything in the history of the world, no. Or, yes, there will be an event where we don't see one player, at least, on the podium.
I am going to paint you guys a little hypothetical here. A tournament with a podium, and just tell me if this is outside the realm of possibility. The podium is Calvin Heimberg, Gannon Burr, and Isaac Robinson. Totally possible. None of those guys.
Worlds?
None of those guys. Yeah,
2025.
Basically. None of those guys sponsored by Discraft. And then on the FBO side, a podium of Kristen Tatar, Ella Hansen, Evelina Salonen.
Or Owen Scoggins.
Totally possible.
Ridiculous.
Or Owen Scoggins.
Yeah.
Put Owen Scoggins in there. She's team Innova. Now, of course, they have Holland Hanley and they have Missy Gannon on the FPO side and Paige Pierce. There's probably some others that I'm missing, but their MPO side is just stacked. Absolutely ridiculously
Monster
stacked
team.
But based on pure volume and the fact that everybody's bound to have an off weekend at some point, unless it's 2024 and your name is Gannon Burr, or 2023 and your name is Kristen Tatar, or Kristen Latt, or really Kristen anytime in the last 3 years, really. But yes, I absolutely think it will happen. Now, will there be more podiums without a Discraft player than with a Discraft player? That I don't think. I think there will be more podiums that include a Discraft player than there are podiums that don't include a Discraft player. But I think it would definitely be more than one time that it happens this season if I had to guess.
I mean, between Ezra Robinson, Ricky Wysocki, and Anthony Barella.
Insane.
Just how do you go any week and not think that one of those 3 guys will just podium? Don't even have to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Their team on MPO is so stacked. They are going to absolutely destroy. If there was a manufacturer's cup, they would absolutely annihilate it.
There isn't an official manufacturer's cup, but I will say another podcast that I like to listen to, Grip Locked. They keep track through the season. They have their own little system that they use to keep track of a manufacturer's cup standings. I think they use a similar format to Formula One, where if you finish in the top 10, you earn a certain amount of points, and it's staggered. So the higher you finish, the more points you earn. It's not just 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and so on. So I don't think they've done their Well, I think they would have had to have done their first one after Supreme Flight. I don't remember exactly what it was. Well, actually, if there was, it would have been incredible for Discraft, for sure. Because I think they even because they take in the top 10, which also would have included Austin Turner, and Adam Hammis. Is he Discraft? I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So 2 other guys in the top 10. They had 6 of the top 10 were Discraft players on the MPO side. And then, of course, on the FPO side as well, having plenty of players. So Discraft is definitely, I think, going to dominate that stat this season for sure. All right. Galen, let's throw it over to you for some pick recap. How did we do?
Yeah. No, I was going to agree with you 100%. I think.
Oh yeah, unless you had some more comments.
No,
which case,
I'm good.
Feel free.
I started making noise before you were done talking, and I figured I would explain what that noise was about to be. But no, I got nothing else to add. I was just going to agree with you, man. But yeah, let's do a quick picks recap. For the Supreme Flight Open, Robbie, you had picked Ricky and Evelina. Sean had AB and friend of the pod, Sophia Dunica. And I had Gannon Burr and friend of Robbie, Holland Handley. And it was, I thought, a pretty interesting tournament for how our players finished. Robbie, Ricky, and Evelina, you had a 4th and a 3rd place finish to average a very solid, just off the podium, 3.5. Sean with AB and Sophia, you had an average of 6.5. Though somebody, I don't know who it is, that initially had written stuff into this segment, had Anthony in 2nd and Sophia in 11th as averaging 12.5. And I went, hang on a second, I don't think that math adds up. Let me check and see if Sophia or Anthony finished further down. No, they definitely didn't. Let me revise that math. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So, Sean, that's where you sat. And I was just behind you. Gannon at 12 and Holland in 2nd, averages out to 7th. So, Robbie takes the cake this week, but I mean, I can't hate any of those. If we have all 3 of us finishing with average picks in the top 10, I mean, that's really solid. I thought a great tournament. Anything you had to add, fellas, Sean or Robbie, before we move on to their Pro Tour previews we got?
Just one last thing. Super big shout out to our Canadian friends who are down there. Rebecca Dawn, Chantel Badinsky, Thomas Gilbert, and Sophia Dunica. I mean, Sophia tying for 11th in a fantastic field on an amazing course. Like, really, kudos to her especially. And then, there's one more shot that I forgot to mention. Didn't make it on coverage, but in the final round, Taylor Chosek in FPO, she has got a cannon on her. On hole 18, if you know this hole, she went OB off her drive and ended up on the drop zone. She caught it onto the green from the drop zone. That is a monster shot. I think she might have been the only person to actually do that, or even attempt it, because it's so far, and it's so far uphill.
I think when I was watching the Jomez coverage afterwards, the 2 hot geese were saying that it's the only, they've never even heard of anybody else even getting up on top of it from the drop zone in the FPO field, and she did it in a tournament round.
Absolutely incredible shot. And if she can, put together the complete game, she has all the individual components, but she's new on tour. She's learning how to put together the complete game. If she can do that, watch out, because she is a bomber.
Yeah, she might be the farthest thrower in the FPO division. She is an insane athlete, and it's going to be awesome to see whatever the first, I guess it would be Worlds. I don't know if they do one for US. I don't think they do a distance competition for US women's. So Worlds, that long drive contest is going to be electric.
If they all let one in bounds, it feels like it's going to be Taylor, Ellie, and Ella up there.
Yeah. Those are the top 3 for sure, I think.
Do not count out Sophia.
Oh, and Sophia.
She has elite distance.
Absolutely.
I hope the full field of these bomber ladies show up whatever that event is, because it's going to be so cool to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I also want to give a big shout out to friend of the show, Rebecca Dawn, who in round one, she through 16 holes was sitting at +1, which on this course is absolutely fantastic. Just for reference, +1 total after round one would have had her tied for 13th place in the field. Absolutely insane. Sorry, Rebecca, if you're listening. Rebecca then went to take a quadruple bogey, an 8 on the par 4 17th. And then I don't even know what the word is for this, but she took a +8 on hole 18. I believe she went OB a couple times to end up at that score. But in round two, she shot, I'm just scrolling through here again. Round two, she was able to bounce back and shoot 1 under par, a 979 rated round, moving up 9 spots into 33rd place. She was 42nd, third last after the first round. And then in the third round, she shot a +1, a 965 rated round to move up another 7 spots into 26th, only 3 shots off of making cash. An incredible bounce back for Rebecca. Literally only 2 bad holes in her entire tournament. Now, when those bad holes add to +12, that is not going to do you any good, but incredible job bouncing back from Rebecca. So I had to make sure I gave an extra shout out for her in there.
As she said on her Instagram, she played 52 holes of really good golf. Unfortunately, the event was 54 holes long. She told me that she's going to be playing 7 Pro Tour events, or hopes to play 7 Pro Tour events this year. And we are here on the show are excited to watch and see how she does, because she is definitely a rising star on tour.
Oh, 100%. And just to add a little extra to that final round and bouncing back so well, hole 18, final round, she cards the eagle. An incredible, what would that be? 9 strokes better than what she had on that hole in round one. So fully getting her revenge on 18 to end out her tournament. So big shout out to Rebecca there. And yes, we will definitely be continuing to watch and cheer for Rebecca as this season goes on. Well, we are going to move on now to some previews for some upcoming DGPT events. Mr. Galen, let's throw it on over to you.
Heck yeah. And that wonderful interview with Macie has me want to do these Southern tournament previews in a Southern accent. And so I'm going to get right into that now. We have the WACO annual, just to piss Sean off. But first off, we have the WACO Annual Charity Open. And for decades, WACO's been a can't-miss tournament. This year, the Pro Tour is going to be back in WACO once again from March 14th to 16th to take on the iconic Brazos Park East for the second Pro Tour event of the 2025 season. Last year, 160 MPO and FPO players battled it out for a combined purse over $100,000 over 2 courses, just 1 course this year. But last year on the MPO side, it was Gannon Burr gutting out the win with a 1-stroke lead at neg 37 over Nicholas Antala and Luke Humphreys. A bit of a gap after that with AB and Mason Ford a further 5 strokes back, and Chris Dickerson 1 behind them. Nobody else cracking neg 30. And over an FPO was Kristen Tatar, now Kristen Lett, in her usual dominant form, nearly lapping the field with a bonkers 1007 rated negative 20 on the tournament. Owen came in second at negative 13, followed by Holland at neg 11, Evelina and Haley King rounding out the top 5 at neg 10, and nobody else reaching double digits. Last year, like this year, this year, like last year, we will see 160 of the world's best gutted out with almost all of the Pro Tour's usual suspects back on the course, with defending FPO champ Kristen Lett making her season debut, and MPO champ Gannon Burr looking to fend off a nagging neck, I don't know if we call it an injury, I'll call it an issue, and return to form after a bit of a disappointing first event on this year's Pro Tour. So, with all of that said, fellas, let's do some picks. I'm going to go over to Robbie first. Who do you like to take it down this weekend at the WACO Annual Charity Open?
I feel like WACO is one of the hardest tour stops all season to predict. It is so crazy every single year. Just to give you guys a little taste, because I was looking at some past results to see who has like consistently played at least pretty well at this event and might be worth picking. 2022, the podium was Paul Macbeth, Luke Humphreys, and Chris Clemens. Oh, and Joel Freeman was tied with Chris Clemens for third. 2023, the podium was Kyle Klein, Adam Hammis, Cole Radalin, and Calvin Heimberg tied at third. And then, of course, last year, Gannon Nicholas and Luke Humphreys was tied with Nicholas in second. So I don't even know what to think about this event, really. But somebody that has played, I was about to say has played fairly well here, but now I'm realizing he either didn't play this last year or played very bad, because I don't see his name. So now I'm going to have to think of something else. And I'm actually going to go with, you know what? I will. I'm going to go, he's a previous winner here. He finished tied for 7th last year. So, still maintaining that top 10. See if that can get me some points with a top 10 player. I'm going to go with Kyle Klein. And he's also, I'm pretty sure, on my fantasy team. So that also helps me there. I can root extra hard for him. On the FPO side, it's kind of hard to go against the back-to-back champion of an event when they've won it 2 straight years. It's obvious that that's not a fluke. And this particular player has done a lot of winning over the last little while. She's making her 2025 season debut at WACO. I'm going to go with Kristen Lett.
Fun fact, out of the 4 names that your 2 players have, 3 of them start with K. I guess we shouldn't be talking about KKK. Never mind. Forget I said that. Sean, over to you.
I'm going to start an FPO, and I don't know if you remember WACO last year. Ella Hansen was cruising to her.
That was 2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago when she gave it away?
Yeah, Kristen dominated last year, but 2 years ago was the one where, Ella should have had the win.
Oh.
Should have had the win, then went OB on 18, and all that happened.
16 and 17 or whatever. They gave up 5 strokes in like 3 holes or something. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to back, but I'm going to go Supreme Flight Open and WACO. I'll take Ella Hansen wanting revenge on this course.
I quickly pulled it up to fact check just because I was curious. Yeah. That year, Ella bogeyed the last 3 holes, while Kristen went 2 under on those last 3 holes to come from behind and win by 1 stroke.
I remember Kristen looking at her phone at one point, going "Oh."
Yeah, I think that was actually the tournament where she literally didn't even know until she was on 18, and she's like, "Wait, I can win this thing?"
Yeah. So I'll take Ella Hansen for the revenge, and let's go. I'm not going to go back to back with Ezra. I'll take Ricky Wysocki taking down his first tour win of the year. Galen, over to you.
Solid picks, my friend. I cannot hate on either of those whatsoever. I am going to lock in. we're talking about consistency here, and I haven't looked back far enough to see his performance at past WACO events, and my memory is failing me right now. But I feel like Chris Dickerson plays well in tournaments in southern states, generally speaking. A 5th place finish last year. I think he's about the 5th or 6th highest rated player in the field. And I don't know, there's some events where I just get a feeling about a player, and usually I'm wrong, but maybe this time I'll be right. So lock in Chris Dickerson. And on the FPO side, I am going to take Own, last year's 2nd place finisher. The newest member of the 990 club. I think that she's going to put on a bit of a clinic here as well. Kristen's got a different last name now. Anything goes. Last year's 2nd place finisher.
Question for you boys. Perennial 2nd place finisher, Luke Humphreys. This is his event to not win, but like almost win. He either comes in 2nd or down in like 40th place. Over, under. Do you think he will finish in the top 10?
I'm saying under 2.5.
Under 2.5. Let's go.
Wise.
I'm going to set the line at 10.5. Over or under 10.5?
Under. Lock it in.
So you think he's going to finish better than 10.5? Yeah, I kind of lean that way. I mean, there's just something about WACO that obviously he loves. He's finished
He does.
2nd here 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And maybe even more before that. I just didn't look that far back. Wouldn't surprise me if he had. So, I could totally see him finishing in the top 10 here. It's one of the courses where it's just, I don't even know what it is about. I think it is one of the shorter courses on tour, the Beast. Now it is pretty tough, but I think it's a little shorter, so that'll help Luke a bit. And something about being in WACO, he just loves. So yeah, I will take the under as well. I think he's going to finish in the top 10.
I'll take the over, but it would be very cool if he did. He is 1024 rated. I kept scrolling down the registration list to sort of find him. But maybe this is his year. That would be super sick.
That would be
Seems
awesome.
like he knows how to capture lightning in a bottle here. So, hey, you hate all you want, and Robbie and I know the truth. We are Luke Humphreys truthers. So lock it in. Under 2.5. Bet my life savings if there was a market that carried bets on disc golf and had that bet. All right, fellas, what do you say we move on over to the Open at Austin and the weekend following WACO, March 20th to 23rd. The DGPT is going to swing on over to Austin, Texas for the 3rd stop on the 2025 Pro Tour, the Open at Austin. And this year's tournament will see the best of the FPO and MPO fields descend on the Sprinkle Valley Disc Golf Course and a temporary layout on the open course at Harvey Pennock. Last year, it was Nicholas Ontala and Owen Scoggins taking down the victories over stacked fields at Harvey Pennock Disc Golf Course. And last year, Owen absolutely ran over the field with a -26, which made history as the highest FPO event average of all time at a 1029. Behind her was Kristen at a pitiful 1,000 rated neg 15, and Missy Gannon way back at neg 10, a casual 16 strokes behind first place. On the podium. Insane. And over an MPO, Nicholas grinded out a gutsy victory at neg 27 over Kyle Klein at neg 26 and Calvin Heimberg, who made a late charge to finish at 25 under par. It was neck and neck and neck heading into the final few holes, but Nicholas connected for some huge clutch 46 and 35 footers on 17 and 18 for the tie, and then the win, respectively, to take his first Pro Tour victory. This year, 164 of the best will be back in Austin to battle it out once more. Last year made history, boys, and I am excited to see what this year has in store. So with that said, let us head over to picks, and we are going to reverse the order of our picks for the last tournament that we just did, and I am going to go first. And I am going to lock in Own, because even if she sheds a casual 11 strokes, she will still have, I guess if if she drops 10 strokes, she'll still have a stroke to give. Owns a repeat, and I will take last year's third place finisher with that late charge to have that charge continue for the entire tournament. I'm going to go Calvin Heimberg on the MPO side and own Scoggins. Robert of House Holden and Miss Mando fame. What are your choices?
I think those were literally the two players I wanted to pick for this event. Oh my goodness. I definitely was going to pick Own. Kristen, she did finish second here last year, but didn't play as good the year before. I'm gonna go.
This is her warm-up event, remember?
That is,
yeah.
Well, actually, WACO would be her warm-up. This would be her second.
WACO would be. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah. Still early in the season for her.
It is, yes. But it's WACO is normally her first event of the year. She's won it back-to-back years, and then the second event is where the struggle sets in a little bit. I wouldn't say that she exactly struggled last year. She beat third place by 5 strokes? You said in your recap there, Galen. She just happened to be way behind the best tournament average by an FPO player ever. From Own, so hard to beat there. But all right, I am going to go with back-to-back third place finisher at this event over the last 2 years. I'm going to go with Missy Gannon on the FPO side, and on the MPO side, definitely stole Calvin from me. I would have liked that, but I'm gonna go. I feel like I've had 3 separate opportunities to pick him so far for tournaments, and haven't done that, which is absolutely insane after his year last year. So I'm gonna go with Gannon.
Taking the double Gannon.
Gannon squared.
Gannon squared, absolutely solid. For me, I was kind of hoping thinking maybe Nicholas. One of the things I loved watching him win it last year. The tears. It was, if you remember, they almost had to bust out the glow discs because it went so late in the day.
Yeah, basically did.
It was dark when they finished.
Huge floodlights by hole 18, the basket.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so fun. Oh man. So
Kyle Klein trying to keep his putt warm and just warming up and you could slowly start to see less and less of him as it got darker and darker.
Oh man, so good. I'm gonna you took Gannon. I've already picked Ricky once so far. So I'll take Ezra Robinson to keep chugging along his little choo-choo of wins. And then over in FPO, how do I not pick Kristen? Even if she was way behind last year, I don't think she finishes off the podium this year. So I'll take.
If you're the third person to pick in this, and Kristen is still on the board, you have to.
You have to take her. Yeah, 100% taking Kristen.
Yeah.
It feels weird that it's why is she still available to pick?
Right. Yeah. So what am I missing here?
100%. I haven't seen anything on social that she is missing a leg or something. So yes, I'm absolutely taking Kristen.
Yep. Hard to argue with that. And she did. Now I said that she, didn't have the best finish 2 years ago. She still finished 5th and then finished 2nd last year. So that's just the standard that Kristen Lett has set over the last 3 years, that off weekends for her are still finishing in the top 5, but missing the podium. So definitely Definitely great picks there. And that is going to do it for us here on Missed Mando this week. We've got Pro Tour events coming up. We've got Ontario events coming up. We are diving head first right into the deep end of the disc golf season again. And I could not be more excited for it. Thank you so much for being here with us for another episode of Missed Mando. For Sean Galbraith and Galen Naidu-Harris, I'm Robbie Holden, and we'll see you on the course. Thank you for waiting for that to actually be recording for me to do that. So now Sean has that footage.
We're just going to drop that right at the end of the show.
Yeah.